You know, one of the things I focus on here a lot at the MeidasTouch network are former Republicans who now say their party has left them as MAGA has taken over and that they will never vote for Trump or this MAGA mutation of their party. And some people still consider themselves Republicans, but just not MAGA. And they say they are absolutely not voting for Donald Trump, not supporting any MAGA politicians. And this includes some people who voted for Trump in 2016, even some people who voted for Donald Trump in 2020. The Republican voters against Trump group deserves a follow and deserves your support. They do a great job also showcasing this. And I think you saw at the Democratic National Convention, the DNC really leaning into these stories, the types of stories that we and the Republican voters against Trump have been sharing about these former Republican voters or former Trump voters who are no longer supporting Trump and no longer supporting MAGA. I want to showcase for you what has occurred over just even the past 48 hours. And you'll recall that we started covering this 4 years ago, right? We called it our Mass Exodus series, and we would read the stories day after day. And I think it's so important that we're seeing more of that right now, because one of the ways you can deprogram cults and get people to leave, they feel safe if they know that there is this vibrant pro-democracy community out there that loves our flag, that loves our Constitution, that loves our country, and that we crave normalcy and empathy and love and hope and joy. So, for example, here is Adam Kinzinger speaking after Vice President Kamala Harris's historic speech. Kinzinger, of course, spoke during the Democratic National Convention on day 4. He did an incredible job. But here he is talking about, look, I think Vice President Kamala Harris did a great speech, he says, but also Donald Trump has ceded so much ground of things that used to be Republican talking points that now the Democratic Party has been able to show that they're the patriots. The Democratic Party, they're the ones who love the Constitution. They're the ones who care about family values. Here, watch this.
Independents, people on the fence or undecided who were out there in the television audience listening, what do you think the impact of her speech is tonight?
I thought her speech was good. Here's actually really good. But here's what I thought was interesting is Donald Trump has ceded so much ground that used to be traditionally Republican ground. So let's talk about national defense, Ukraine. This is all stuff Donald Trump should have been talking about at his convention if he was a little more of a traditional Republican. Kamala came in and took that ground. I mean, she wasn't scared to do like kind of the, well, we don't want to get to. She took the ground on immigration. She reminded people that he tanked the immigration bill. She took the ground on Ukraine. And I think if you're a undecided Republican out there, you look and you're like, yeah, it's going to be tough for me to not vote for Kamala now because she literally gave me the things that I was concerned about.
Also, one of the speakers was the mayor of Mesa, Arizona, John Giles. And I previously showed for you Mayor Giles' speech, so I'm not going to replay that here. But I want to show you this portion of the interview that he recently gave. And look, I used to litigate in Mesa, Arizona. I know that city. I know the city council well. Very conservative, very conservative mayor. So here, when he says, look, I'm conservative, but I don't like this toxicity that is MAGA, I want you to watch Mayor John Giles of Mesa in this interview. Play this clip.
You were there partly because you had previously endorsed Kamala Harris for president. Why that choice?
You know, as a mayor, I serve really in a nonpartisan position. Everyone knows I'm a Republican, but at local government, you know, in my city council, I work with very progressive Democrats and very conservative Republicans on my city council, and we get along very well, and because we focus on solving problems, and so I don't generally like to get involved in toxic, you know, partisan, polarizing events. But sometimes there's elections or there's issues that really silence is not an option. And this is one of those very pivotal elections, I think, in our lifetime.
And then the Republican Voters Against Trump organization has been doing an incredible job getting these videos of former Trump supporters telling their story. So let me show you, for example, a story like Alexandra. Alexandra lives in a very important state in this election, North Carolina. She's a lifelong Republican. She's a two-time Trump voter. Voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020. And she said what I'm hearing from so many former Trump voters: I just need a reset. I need a reset button. I'm sorry for what I did, and we need to move our nation forward. Here, watch this.
Donald Trump needs to be gone. No more felons. No more space lasers. It's weird, and it's embarrassing, and it's dangerous. I'm Alexandra. I live in North Carolina, and I'm a two-time Trump voter. I'm a lifelong Republican. I grew up in South Louisiana in an oil and gas community, so having a president that supported our industry was very important to me, and Donald Trump is a good fit for that. Moving forward, he's not a good fit anymore for me. I'm not voting for him ever again. He's taking credit for the drop in immigration numbers, but once again, that was because of Title 42. They didn't actually deal with immigration. If they did, we'd have adequate screening. Border Patrol would have what they need, and the people that came here to work would be working and assimilated into our society and not living in hotels and schools and bankrupting cities. The House Republicans definitely need some blame because A, they didn't deal with this whenever they had control of everything. B, they killed the legislation that was going to be put forth. I think that we need to hit the reset button on our party. Donald Trump needs to be gone. He messes everything up even whenever he's not in office. No more felons. No more space lasers. It's weird, and it's embarrassing, and it's dangerous.
So that's her story. I want to share with you another story right here of a former Trump voter. This is Greg. Greg's from Wisconsin. Greg is a former Trump voter. Watch what he has to say. Greg from Wisconsin. Let's play it.
I don't think I'll ever vote for Trump again for anything, not even dog catcher. My name is Greg. I live in Wisconsin, and I am a former Trump voter. He's led people into believing that the Christian nation needs to be in charge, and the First Amendment says the right to choose your own religion. I am a Christian, but I don't think it's my way to say anything about anything other than with my vote. Kamala has a good lead in my vote right now, but I definitely don't want to vote for Trump. He's caused a little divide that everybody's made a bigger divide. We need to come together and be able to work together to get a better country for our youngsters and the children to be born. I don't think I'll ever vote for Trump again for anything, not even dog catcher.
Here, by the way, is a montage that they played at the DNC of stories just like this. Do you remember this from the DNC? It was one of my favorite moments. Play the clip.
I'm Matt, and I'm a former Trump voter.
Hi, my name is Dave from Pennsylvania. I'm a two-time Trump voter, 2016 and 2020.
I voted for Trump before, but I'm not going to do that again. I think his agenda has really been awful for America.
He doesn't care about ordinary people. He's never been one, never known any.
I'm extremely worried about Donald Trump getting in the White House again.
People are working. All these people who weren't working under the Trump administration, they now have jobs.
One thing I like about Kamala Harris is she talks about the issues. She talks about the economy. She talks about women's rights.
I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris.
How much do you think you're paying in subscriptions every single month? I think the answer is probably more than you think. Over 74% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about. I definitely did, like the time I forgot I subscribed to a certain streaming service. But thanks to Rocket Money, I'm no longer wasting money on the ones that I forgot about. You see, Rocket Money, it's a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and helps you lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions and a clear view of my expenses. I can see all of my subscriptions in one place, and if I see something I don't want, Rocket Money can help me cancel it with just a few taps. I love how the dashboard shows me this month's spending compared to last month, so I can clearly see my spending habits. Plus, they'll help me create a custom budget and keep my spending on track. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is submit a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. They'll deal with customer service for you. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/MeidasTouch. That's rocketmoney.com/MeidasTouch. rocketmoney.com/MeidasTouch. Here's a recent interview from the former Republican governor of New Jersey, Christine Todd Whitman. Here's what former Governor Whitman, Republican, had to say why she's supporting Vice President Kamala Harris. Play this clip.
Well, I don't think any of us would say we're totally at home. We're not. I mean, we're not going to agree with everything. I don't agree with everything that's going to be happening. But what I do agree with, and what I think Republicans have always believed in, is the rule of law and the Constitution. That's what makes this country great. And Donald Trump has no respect for either of those things. Constitution's an inconvenient document, and he can do anything he wants. The rule of law does not apply to him. That's wrong. That's not how our country functions. And it's not what we want in the White House.
And here is Donna from Tennessee, another former Trump voter, sharing her story with you. Play the clip.
The message from the Republican Party is about hate and condemnation and shame. My name is Donna, and I live in the greater Nashville area, and I'm a former Trump voter, but I'm not going to vote for him in 2024. Saw a video from Vance just this morning that said that, single people, that people who don't have families are psychotic. That's crazy. I mean, where is he coming up with that? I don't want them to be role models to, my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. I like the energy that Kamala is bringing. Her message is about hope. Her message is about, love. Her message is about freedom. It is about us. It is really about the American people. And the message from the Republican Party is about hate and condemnation and shame. I'm not anxious anymore. I'm not fearful. I feel really good and inspired about what's going to take place this year with Kamala Harris.
And look, as you hear these stories, as you see these stories, as you may have a story like this, your family members, colleagues, friends, whoever, I think it's so important to know that this is part of a bigger movement going on because people are seeing things like this. So as we get closer to the election, 74 days left, 73 days left, 72 days left, 71, 70 days left, as we get closer and closer to Election Day, I like that the Republican voters against Trump are playing clips like this. Like 1 year ago today, when asked about the potential for a U.S. civil war, Trump said this about January 6th. Play this clip.
Do you think we're moving towards civil war?
There's tremendous passion and there's tremendous love. January 6th was a very interesting day because they don't report it properly. I believe it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. And some of the crowds I've spoken before. People in that crowd said it was the most beautiful day they've ever experienced. There was love in that crowd. There was love and unity. I have never seen such spirit and such passion and such love. And I've also never seen simultaneously and from the same people such hatred of what they've done to our country.
So do you think it's possible that there's open conflict? We seem to be moving towards something.
I don't know because I don't know what it, I can say this. There's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen, and that's probably a bad combination.
Or here is Donald Trump yesterday, or Friday, when Donald Trump was asked about Vice President Kamala Harris getting under his skin. Just watch his response here. Play this clip.
Of the race, there's a widespread perception that Kamala Harris replacing Joe Biden on the Democratic ticket has thrown you off your game, gotten under your skin. What do you say to that?
No, I think we're doing great. I think we're leading. We just had a Rasmussen poll. We're up by 5. We're doing, I think, very well. What is unfair is that it's unfair to him, but it's also unfair to me. I was leading by 17 or 18 points after the debate, and they said, he's going to lose. And they went and told him, you're going to lose. We want to replace you. Crazy Nancy Pelosi went in with a group with Obama and with others, but they went in with a group and they said, we want you out. And they took him out, and it was a bad thing to do, but also unfair to me.
I spent $100 million fighting against the man that won in their party. And we had a debate, and the debate was good for me, it wasn't good for him. And then all of a sudden they take him out and they put somebody new in that never got a vote. She didn't get a single vote. He got 14 million votes, she got none. So I'm running against her. Now we're up in the polls. We're winning on the swing states, but I've got to beat two people instead of one. That never happened either, so it's not a very fair thing, but I live with it. Yeah, did you?
Here's a recent post by a good friend of mine, retired federal Judge Ludwig, former Court of Appeals judge, viewed as the godfather of conservative judges. So when I went to law school at Georgetown, Judge Ludwig was like the OG conservative guy. And so the fact that Judge Ludwig and I have become friends, and the fact that he's saying things like, it's mind-boggling, but it's important. It's actually not mind-boggling now. It would be mind-boggling if I went back in the past when I was a law student in 2010 and thought about this. But here's what Judge Ludwig said. Fox News just posted the endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris by former Republican White House lawyers who served in the White House under Presidents Reagan, Bush, and George W. Bush. I am proud to join my friends and colleagues with that endorsement. Well said. And by the way, as Nate Silver posted on Friday, we are already seeing a convention bounce for Harris, and this is from data before her speech last night. Just take a look at his model. She's up 48% to 43.7%. Pretty impressive stats right there indeed. And let me leave you with this, what Vice President Kamala Harris stated, that she's going to be a president for all Americans. Republicans, Democrats, independents. If you're pro-democracy, let's join together and unify. Play the clip.
And let me say, I know there are people of various political views watching tonight, and I want you to know, I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put country above party and self, to hold sacred America's fundamental principles, from the rule of law to free and fair elections to the peaceful transfer of power.
Well, there you have it, folks. Hit subscribe. We're very close to getting 3 million subscribers. Hit subscribe if you can. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.